Imagine a perfect family vacation in a sunny Portuguese resort. Golden beaches, warm evenings, and the laughter of children echoing through the air. Now imagine returning to your room to find your 3-year-old daughter gone, her bed empty, the window open, and no trace of where she went. That's the nightmare that struck Kate and Gerry McCann on May 3rd, 2007, when their daughter, Madeleine, vanished from their holiday apartment in Praia, Portugal, just days before her 4th birthday. Welcome to Global Shadows, where we uncover the darkest crimes against the innocent. Today, we're diving into the Madeleine McCann case, a mystery that's gripped the world for nearly 18 years, becoming one of the most famous missing persons cases in history. Madeleine's disappearance turned a quiet resort town into the epicenter of a global manhunt, with her parents, both British doctors, leading a tireless campaign to find her, even as they face suspicion and scrutiny themselves. Early theories pointed to an abduction, possibly by a stranger who slipped through the open window while McCann's dined nearby, leaving behind only questions and fear. But Portuguese police soon turned their focus on Kate and Gerry, suggesting Madeleine might have died accidentally in the apartment, her body hidden by her parents to cover up the truth. In 2022, a German drifter, Christian Brückner, emerged as the prime suspect, a convicted sex offender with a history in the Algarve region, known for preying on the vulnerable. Yet, as of April 2025, Brückner has not been charged in Madeleine's case, recently acquitted of unrelated charges in Germany, and may walk free by September, leaving justice hanging in the balance. Despite extensive searches, like the 2023 probe of the Portuguese reservoir, where divers combed through mud and debris, no trace of Madeleine has been found, leaving her family in a heart-wrenching limbo. This case isn't just a mystery. It's a story of loss, hope, and the hidden dangers that can lurk even on a family holiday, a stark reminder of how quickly joy can turn to despair. As we explore Madeleine's disappearance, the swirling theories, the elusive suspects, and the enduring pain of her loved ones, we'll ask, how does a child vanish without a trace? And what can we do to protect the ones we love? Let's step into Praia, where a single night changed everything, and a little girl's smile became a symbol of a mystery that refuses to be solved. Have you followed the Madeleine McCann case over the years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In May 2007, the McCann family, Kate, Gerry, and their 3 children, Madeleine, 3, and 2-year-old twins Sean and Amelie, arrived in Praia, a picturesque resort town in Portugal's Algarve region, known for its sandy beaches and quaint cobblestone streets. They were joined by 7 friends and their children, a group dubbed the Top of 7 by the media, for a week-long holiday, staying at the Ocean Club Resort in Apartment 5A. The McCanns, both doctors from Leicester, England, were looking forward to a relaxing break after a busy year. Madeleine, with her blonde hair and blue-green eyes marked by a distinctive iris blemish, a small brown fleck in her right eye that made her instantly recognizable, was a bright, curious, and lovely girl, just days shy of her 4th birthday. The family spent their days at the beach, the kids' club, and the resort's pool, where Madeleine loved splashing with her siblings, her laughter filling the air. Evenings were filled with dinners at the nearby Tapas restaurant, about 130 feet from their apartment, a spot where the adults could unwind while keeping an ear out for their children. On the night of May 3rd, the routine seemed normal. Kate and Gerry put the children to bed around 7:30 p.m., checking the apartment's locked front door, but leaving the patio door unlocked for easy access, a decision that would later haunt them. They joined their friends at the restaurant, taking turns to check on the kids every 30 minutes, a system they'd used all week without issue. At 9 p.m., Gerry found all 3 children asleep, Madeleine tucked under a pink blanket with her favorite toy, Cuddle Cat, beside her. But at 10 p.m., when Kate returned, she noticed the bedroom window open, the shutter raised, and Madeleine's bed empty, Cuddle Cat left behind. She screamed, "They've taken her," a cry that echoed through the resort, launching a frantic search. Within hours, the quiet town was swarming with police, locals, and media, all combing the streets and beaches for any sign of the little girl. Early clues were scarce. A friend of McCann's, Jane Tanner, reported seeing a man carrying a child in pajamas around 9:15 p.m., heading toward the beach, his silhouette etched in her memory. But with no immediate leads, The case quickly spiraled into a global sensation, leaving everyone wondering who took Madeleine, and how could she vanish so completely from a place meant to be safe? Did you know the McCanns left their patio door unlocked that night? What would you have done differently? Madeleine's disappearance ignited a worldwide media frenzy. With her face, those wide blue-green eyes and distinctive iris mark, plastered across newspapers, TV screens, and posters in multiple languages. Kate and Gerry launched a relentless campaign through their Find Madeleine Fund, raising millions to support private investigators and awareness efforts, even selling their home to keep the search alive. Celebrities like David Beckham, who made a televised plea holding Madeleine's cuddle cat toy, and J.K. Rowling, who donated funds, backed their efforts, while the public followed every lead. From reported sightings in Morocco, where a shopkeeper claimed to see her, to Spain, where a tourist thought they spotted her at a cafe. Portuguese police, the Polícia Judiciária, PJ, initially treated the case as an abduction, focusing on the Tanner sighting a man carrying a child, but their investigation was criticized for critical errors. No immediate forensic sweep of the apartment, no roadblocks to stop fleeing suspects, and a delayed border alert, giving a potential abductor hours to escape across the Spanish border, just 90 minutes away. By August 2007, the narrative shifted dramatically. Portuguese police began to suspect the McCanns themselves, a theory fueled by Kate's cry of "they've taken her," which lead detective Goncalo Amaral interpreted as a staged reaction in his controversial 2008 book, The Truth of the Lie. Cadaver dogs, Keela and Eddie, were brought in from the UK, alerting to traces of death in apartment 5A on Kate's clothes and in the McCann's rental car, hired 25 days after Madeleine vanished. Hair and fibers were sent for DNA testing, though results were inconclusive, with some experts questioning the dog's reliability in court. The PJ theorized Madeleine might have died accidentally, perhaps overdosed on sedatives to help her sleep, a practice McCann's vehemently denied, and that her parents hid her body, later moving in the car to a remote location. In September, Kate and Gerry were named formal suspects or arguidos, a move that shocked the world and turned public opinion against them. The media became hostile, comparing Kate to Lindy Chamberlain, an Australian mother wrongfully convicted in her child's death, partly because Kate didn't cry publicly, a choice she later explained was to stay strong for her twins. Kate wrote in her 2011 book, Madeleine, that the accusations felt like a betrayal, as they diverted focus from finding her daughter, leaving the family to fight both grief and suspicion. The McCanns were cleared in July 2008, when the case was archived for lack of evidence, but the suspicion left a lasting scar on their family and the investigation. How could the search for a missing child turn so quickly against her own parents? Do you think the Portuguese police were too quick to suspect the McCanns? Share your thoughts. For years, the Madeleine McCann case seemed to stall, with leads drying up and McCanns fighting to keep hope alive through their annual vigils and social media updates. In 2011, Scotland Yard launched Operation Grange, a dedicated investigation that has cost over £13.2 million as of April 2025, with an additional £108,000 recently approved for the coming year, a testament to the case's global significance. A breakthrough came in June 2020, when German authorities named Christian Brückner, a 43-year-old drifter, as the prime suspect. Brückner, already in prison for the 2005 rape of a 72-year-old American woman in Praia, had a long criminal history, including child sex offenses, burglaries, and a string of break-ins in the Algarve, where he lived on and off between 1995 and 2007. Records showed he received a phone call near Praia on May 3rd, 2007, just hours before Madeleine vanished, placing him within a mile of the Ocean Club, and he re-registered a vehicle, a white Mercedes van, the very next day, raising immediate red flags among investigators. German prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters claimed they had evidence Madeleine was dead, possibly a confession Brückner made to a cellmate, though he wouldn't specify what, citing ongoing investigations. Witnesses later testified Brückner bragged about abducting a child in Portugal, with one former cellmate, Laurentius Coden, alleging Brückner said the girl did not scream, a chilling detail that sent shivers down investigators' spines. The case against him was circumstantial. No forensic evidence, like DNA or fingerprints, directly linked him to Madeleine. but his proximity to the crime scene, predatory history, and pattern of targeting holiday homes made him a compelling suspect. In 2022, Portuguese authorities officially named Brückner a suspect, working with German and British police in a rare tri-nation effort. Yet, as of April 2025, no charges have been filed in Madeleine's case. Brückner was acquitted in October 2024 of unrelated rape and sexual abuse charges in Germany, despite prosecutors seeking a 15-year sentence, raising fears he could be released by September 2025 and potentially flee to Thailand, where he has ties. The McCanns, while welcoming the focus on Brückner, have said they still hold on to a slim hope Madeleine might be alive, a hope that keeps them going through years of uncertainty. How does a case with such a promising lead remain so unresolved after all these years, leaving a family clinging to fading dreams? What do you think of Christian Brückner as the prime suspect? Do you believe he's guilty? The search for Madeleine has spanned continents, with countless theories and false leads keeping the case alive in the public's mind. Early on, reported sightings poured in. One in Morocco claimed a blonde girl matching Madeleine's description asked a man if he was her daddy, sparking hope that she might be alive. Others placed her in Spain, Brazil, even New Zealand, with a 2012 sighting in a Christchurch store, leading to a brief flurry of excitement, but none were confirmed. In 2008, the McCanns hired Oakley International, a U.S. detective agency, for £500,000, a move that drained their savings but showed their desperation. Led by former MI5 officer Henry Exton, the team focused on a sighting by Irish couple Martin and Mary Smith, who saw a man carrying a child toward the beach on May 3, 2007, around 10 p.m., near the time Kate discovered Madeleine missing. They produced e-fits of the suspect, described as a white man with short brown hair, but the McCanns didn't release them publicly until Scotland Yard did in 2013, sparking criticism for the delay. Some wondered if they feared the images too closely resembled Gerry. The Smiths later clarified it wasn't him. But the incident fueled theories of parental involvement. Searches continued, often yielding little but keeping hope alive. In 2023, Portuguese police, with German and British support, scoured the Arrayed Dam, 50 kilometers from Praia de Luz, a spot Brückner reportedly called his little paradise. Diverse collected items like clothing fragments and plastic bags for analysis, but nothing conclusively tied to Madeleine was found. Another dead end in a case full of them. Theories have ranged widely: abduction by a pedophile ring, a burglary gone wrong, or even that Madeleine wandered out and met with an accident, her body lost in the rugged terrain. The satanic panic of the era led some to speculate about ritualistic motives, though no evidence supported this, and the theory faded quickly. Meanwhile, the McCanns face imposters. Julia Wandel, a Polish woman, claimed in 2023 to be Madeleine, gaining a massive TikTok following before DNA tests disproved her. She was later charged with stalking McCanns, adding to their pain. Posts on X reflect ongoing public division. Some believe Madeleine was sold to a childless couple, citing a 2007 lead about a British man in Malta, while others insist the parents were involved. Pointing to deleted phone calls and DNA in the rental car, claims the McCanns have always denied. These theories, often speculative, highlight the case's complexity and the lack of closure after nearly 18 years. How does a child vanish with so little trace, leaving behind only questions? Which theory about Madeleine's disappearance do you find most believable? Let us know in the comments. Madeleine's disappearance didn't just shatter McCanns. It left an indelible mark on Praia de Luz and the global community that rallied around her, forever changing how we view safety and trust. Kate and Gerry have lived in limbo for nearly 18 years, marking each milestone without their daughter, their lives a mix of grief and determination. In May 2024, they wrote on their Find Madeleine website, "It's 17 years since Madeleine was taken from us. The living in limbo is still very unsettling, and we miss her every day." Their twins, Sean and Amelie, turned 18 in 2023, now young adults navigating university life, but the family requested privacy for them, noting the pain of media intrusion, like when a journalist made Amelie uncomfortable at a memorial event in 2017, asking invasive questions about her sister. The McCanns have channeled their grief into advocacy, working with missing children's charities like Missing People and maintaining their campaign. Despite cruel online theories, some claiming Madeleine was sold or the parents were complicit, theories that have led to death threats and harassment. Praia de Luz, once a sleepy tourist haven known for its quaint charm, became synonymous with tragedy, its name now tied to an unsolved mystery. Locals who joined the initial search, combing beaches and alleyways until dawn, still feel the weight of the case. Tourism took a hit, with families hesitant to visit a place now linked to a child's vanishing. The Ocean Club Resort, where Madeleine disappeared from apartment 5A, became a grim landmark, with some visitors avoiding it entirely, whispering about the cursed room where a little girl was taken. Globally, the case sparked heated debates about parenting and safety. The McCanns were criticized for leaving their children alone while dining, a decision Kate later called their biggest regret in her book, Madeleine, where she wrote, "I'll never forgive myself for that night." Yet, their plight resonated with parents worldwide, highlighting the universal fear of losing a child in an instant. The media frenzy also drew scrutiny. Outlets like the Daily Express ran baseless headlines, such as "McCann's or friend must be blamed," prompting the McCanns to testify at the 2011 Leveson inquiry into press ethics, exposing how sensationalism can harm grieving families. Their story became a cautionary tale about the power of public perception, leaving a fractured legacy of hope, suspicion, and a renewed focus on protecting the vulnerable. How does a family endure such unrelenting pain? And how does a community heal from a wound that never closes? How do you think the media's coverage affected the McCanns' search for Madeleine? Share your views. The Madeleine McCann case remains one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. Its legacy a complex tapestry of heartbreak, resilience, and hard-earned lessons. Nearly 18 years later, the lack of closure haunts not just McCanns but the millions who follow the case, from true crime enthusiasts to parents gripped by fear. Operation Grange, Scotland Yard's investigation, continues with a small but dedicated team, recently granted £108,000 for 2025 to 2026, showing the UK's commitment to finding answers despite the years. Yet, Christian Brückner's acquittal on unrelated charges in October 2024 has cast doubt on whether justice will ever be served, a blow to hopes for resolution. German prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters told Sky News in January 2025 that there's no prospect of an indictment in Madeleine's case as of now, citing insufficient evidence, and Brückner may be freed by September 2025, potentially vanishing to Thailand, where he has connections, leaving investigators scrambling. This uncertainty has fueled frustration. Former UK detective Jim Gamble, who led early efforts on missing children cases, noted Wolters' definitive claims about Madeleine's death suggested stronger evidence, like a possible confession, yet no charges have followed, leaving the case in a maddening limbo that tortures the McCanns. The case has also inspired broader change, its impact rippling far beyond Portugal. It exposed flaws in international police cooperation, prompting better protocols for cross-border missing child cases, such as faster Europol alerts and shared databases, ensuring future cases aren't marred by the same delays. Madeleine's disappearance became a cultural touchstone, influencing documentaries like Netflix's 2019 series The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann, which drew 40 million viewers in its first month, and sparking debates about media ethics and parental responsibility that continue today. But for McCanns, the legacy is deeply personal. Their daughter's absence a daily ache, a void that grows with each birthday she misses. Kate and Gerry have said they'll never stop searching, even as they face imposters like Julia Wandel, who was charged with stalking them in 2023 after her false claims, and ongoing public scrutiny that often turns cruel. The case's unanswered questions: was Madeleine abducted by a stranger? Did she die in the apartment? Is Brückner the key, or is the truth still out there? Continue to drive speculation, but also a renewed focus on child safety worldwide, a legacy Madeleine's parents hold on to as they fight for answers. What will it take to finally solve this mystery and bring peace to a family that's waited so long? Do you think we'll ever know what happened to Madeleine McCann? Let us know your thoughts. For you watching, Madeleine McCann's disappearance is a stark reminder that danger can strike even on a dream vacation, leaving a family shattered and a world in shock. forever changed by the loss of a little girl. At just 3 years old, Madeleine vanished from her bed in Praia, a place meant to be safe, while her parents dined nearby, unaware of the nightmare unfolding. At Global Shadows, we're here to honor Madeleine by sharing lessons that can help keep your children safe. So let's talk about how you can protect the innocence in your life, whether at home or on holiday. First, never leave your children unattended, even for a moment, especially in unfamiliar places like a hotel or resort. The McCanns left Madeleine and her siblings alone in an unlocked apartment, a decision they've called their biggest regret, one that left them vulnerable to a predator who may have been watching. Always have a trusted adult with your kids, or use a resort babysitting service if you need a break. Safety comes first, no matter how secure a place seems. Next, teach your children basic safety skills early, even if they're as young as Madeleine was. She was too young to know what to do, but even young kids can learn to yell for help, recognize safe adults like hotel staff, or stay in well-lit areas. Practice scenarios with them, like what to do if they can't find you, and make sure they know your phone number as soon as they're able, perhaps by singing it as a rhyme. Finally, advocate for better safety measures in your community and when you travel, because Madeleine's case showed how gaps in security can have devastating consequences. Her disappearance exposed issues at the Ocean Club, like poor lighting and no security patrols. Push for things like secure locks, CCTV cameras, and faster emergency protocols at vacation spots. Support charities like the McCann's Find Madeleine Fund, which help missing children and raise awareness, ensuring other families don't face the same pain. Madeleine's story shows us that vigilance can't take a holiday, and we must do everything to protect our kids, no matter where we are. To Madeleine and her family, your strength inspires us, and we hope one day you'll find the answers you deserve. If this story informs you in any way, subscribe, share, and tell us how you keep your kids safe when traveling. What safety tips do you swear by on family vacations? Drop them in the comments.